Now. Hello and welcome to Take Flight Live with Phoenix Stage Company, an award-winning 100% volunteer community theater located in Oakville, Connecticut. That's hello to the kitties. My name is Ed Bassett. I'm Executive Director of Phoenix Stage Company and your host here with Tim Phillips. Say hello, Tim.
Hello. We think after 2 months of doing this, we would.
Sometimes we have to do stuff just to upset Michael.
It's very easy to get that look, the look or that sound.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
my was hello to my sister's cat Jackson.
Now explain why you do that.
Well, because I'm Uncle Treats to Jackson. So when I go
Uncle
to
Treats,
when I go to her house, I walk in and go meow, meow, meow,
and the cat
comes out of hiding for his treats.
Yes,
that's all he wants from me. 4 little treats, and then he leaves again.
So since you just did that, and assuming that Deb is watching, hi Deb, is the cat coming out of the?
No, because she has to have. Okay, so last week, she didn't have her headphones in time, and I said hello, and the cat heard it and ran to his spot to get his treats because he recognized my voice.
Sure.
But normally they can't have the laptop open with sounds coming out of it because the cat can't figure out where the sounds are, and it makes him psychotic, and he hides. Okay. He's a little bit of a freak.
So
he's a lovely cat, but he's a little bit of a freak.
So he's already a freak about sounds, and now you're calling him across it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, whatever makes it. What's the cat's name?
His name is Jackson. We call him Jax. Some people call him Pickles. I don't know why.
Okay.
But he's yellow, so it doesn't look like a pickle.
Oh.
He's an orange cat. You know that orange.
That makes no sense at all. Okay, that's great. Let's do our thing.
Yeah. Our thing. We have to measure ourselves.
Can't always just gotta.
Yeah. And while we're doing this, I need to, say that we don't have any studio audience today. We're 6 feet apart.
We
don't have any studio. Timothy.
Sorry.
We don't have a studio audience today, but we do have Michael Calabrese in the house.
Yes, and we don't have. You have your coffee already.
I have.
Al is not in.
Al is not in the house this time. He's not here.
So I'm going to open. So you have your coffee. I'm going to open my Black Hog.
I have my pumpkin spice coffee by
and he's
Bones
very happy about
Coffee Company, BONZ.
Very happy about that. So 6 feet apart, just so you know.
Yes.
That equals 2.4 paces. I looked this up. The United States customary pace is 30 inches.
Yes.
So we are 2.4 steps or paces from each other.
Yes.
That's in case you wanted to know that.
Okay.
I looked it up.
That's great.
All by myself.
So 10 paces would be 300 inches.
Which is about 10 feet, 20 feet.
So when you each go 10 paces on a duel.
Yes. So you're doing about
40 feet. You're 40 feet apart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that. Well, I don't know how far apart was it on Hamilton when you saw it.
I think Michael's turning off our air conditioners because it's very noisy. In here,
they are very noisy.
He's doing that. We only have mine because it was so humid in the theater today when I got here.
Yeah.
It was a little bit crazy. What are we doing today?
We're doing a bunch of different things. We're going to be talking about apparently cats and things. But tonight we're having a discussion about taking on the classics. And our guest will be Lucia Dressel.
With 1 L.
1 L. Well, 2 L's.
Lucia Dressel.
Lucia and Dressel. And our friend Lydia is going to be back. And of course, we're going to be playing jargon gymnastics.
Or jargon if you're gassy.
Right. But it's you've had a good week? Do you ever have a good week?
No, I do. I do have good weeks. We it was Labor Day weekend.
Yes.
And our pod got together.
Yes, we did.
And I won a cornhole tournament with my partner, Eric.
Yes.
My partner in the game. It's Michael's husband, but my game partner.
Yes.
So I had this lovely trophy now.
Beautiful
that I had to put really, really high up because my cat kept trying to get up and pick her nose on the corn cob and it kept falling over. So they rub. So it's hidden far, far away. But Eric's apparently has a place of honor in the house.
And does it?
It's lit.
It's straight up right under a lamp.
It's backlit.
I think he told me that too.
It's
I think
beautiful.
he told me that day that he was going to make sure that you could see it every time.
No,
And I
yeah,
did.
no, it was good. And we've been having some trouble with this laptop that we use for sound.
Yes.
The DC plug was broken on it. And so I had taken it into Staples and they said, you can fix this yourself. The part's cheap, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay.
No.
So we ordered the part and I tuned into the video and was following all the steps. Take this screw out, take that screw out, and I knew that John Poulin would be very proud of me because
Look at
every
you
time
go.
I took a screw out and I put it in a bag and labeled where the screw went, like the back, the all of that stuff. And I watched this video and I did it and it said, now lift this thing up. And I was lifting and it wasn't coming up and I was lifting and then it snapped in three. And
That's never a good sound.
that was the motherboard, the green part. Because there was a screw in the middle of it that it didn't show on the video. And John later, when I explained it to him, said, it might have been just a slightly different model.
Well, that's possible.
Yeah, but I just I was impatient. And so I piled all the parts together
Yeah.
and I went to Best Buy where I bought the thing years ago. And I said,
It doesn't work.
can this be fixed?
I don't know what happened.
And the Best Buy person said, no, you're effed.
Yeah.
But he didn't say effed. And then they had no laptops in stock.
Really?
They had a couple for like $1,400. Everything else was out of stock because everybody is working at home.
And everybody's going
virtual
school and all that. Yeah.
So I left there and I went across the street to their Staples, and there were some nice ones there, and the guy was nice enough to help me. The one I wanted, he said, we're out of stock on that, but I might have this one. And I was like, okay, we need it for tomorrow night. So I can't order something. I have to be able to play music.
Right.
So he brought it out of the stockroom and said, it's our last laptop. Okay.
All right.
And there was a ding in the box and he said, it's just the box. The laptop's fine. I said, okay. And paid for it.
Story.
Well, last night was poker night. So I had to go play poker. And when I finished that, I lost $2.50. But anyway, so then I went home and I unpacked the thing, and the ding in the box matched a ding in the top of the laptop. And I thought maybe it's just a dent.
And
But
it was
when
the
I
last
opened
one
it up,
they had.
wah, wah,
Yeah.
it didn't work.
Of course.
So this morning I went to a different Staples with it all packed up and explained the story, and they switched it out for me, and they were very nice. But it
And
was
it looks like it's working.
it's working, and so now Phoenix has a new sound board, which is great. And but all of that, 10 years of music and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
So John Poulin's going to work his magic and pull that stuff off of the old hard drive to get all that music back. That's 10 years of sound cues and things.
Lots of
set up.
shows on
Michael's
there.
shaking his head no. I know, Michael, I will never try to fix another mechanical thing again.
I'm shaking my head no, because I told you to back that computer up over a month ago.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm really technically stupid. I turn it on, it comes on, I push play, and the music happens. I know how to set all this stuff up, but it's like,
Yeah, I'm like you. I'm terrible at backing up.
so
stuff.
I know better.
I have that service. What's that service that has the backups?
the cloud.
Carbonite. I have Carbonite. Is that good?
Yeah.
Is that a good thing?
It's a good thing.
Carbonite to me is something that's in Star Trek, and John and Casey, you're watching if you know what I'm talking
I mean, I
about.
could have had but I did have a very good meeting with the Rishnovskis and the Willies to talk. When we'll talk about that project later when we're going on. So I had a good meeting with them. Then all day, I spent all day today in meetings, and it was just
Crazy.
But on the positive note, I'm breathing. I have a roof over my head, and I was able to eat food today.
You know what another
I'm good.
positive note is?
And my cats didn't throw up this morning.
This weekend, St. Michael's Church Fair in Naugatuck.
Oh, tell me you went and got donuts and didn't save any.
I
for
didn't
me.
get them because it starts tomorrow morning.
Oh.
I'm getting them tomorrow morning. Now, they're not having their fair as usual, as is nobody, because we don't have the Big E this year. We don't, so I'm not going to get whatever it is, or we're not going to drink our way through the Big E. We're not going to the Durham Fair. I can't get my steamed cheeseburgers, but St. Michael's in Naugatuck on the green. They'll have their fair. They're going to have all their foods just to go, and they make the best, freshest donuts I've ever had.
And speaking of that, combined with the Big E last night, poker night, Grandma, I played poker with Grandma.
Yeah.
Grandma made pumpkin spice donut bread pudding.
Oh my! I guess I know Lori brought some home. I haven't had it yet.
It was warm, and she put Cool Whip on it. And
Yeah.
my comment was, "This is Big E food. Like
Speaking
this is
of it,
good Big E food."
What's your go-to food at fairs? or especially the Big E?
Guinness.
Well, food.
You know what? I don't eat a lot at the like if I go to the Big E, I don't stop at any of the weird little fried this and fried that and fried.
Lori's
I
really
never
big
have.
about.
We usually go to like the Lions Club thing or you know, we don't really eat a lot of that. We like to sit down someplace, either Storo Town or one of the little fundraising things that have tables and chairs, and we eat there. We have a burger or a dog or something like that.
I wonder if our viewers have favorite
fair
fair
food or Big E food. Yeah,
Big E
let
food
us know
or
if you
other
have,
fairs, because like I said, Lori's dad used to work for the VFW in Durham.
Yeah.
And every year they would have the steamed cheese.
You know, I've never been to any of them. I've never been to the Durham Fair. I've never been to the Goshen Fair. I've never been to any of those.
Once,
right?
I think. I've been to so many of them, only like once, but I mean, the crowds obviously can't do that. But I'm very excited about these donuts coming tomorrow.
That's
so
really
I'll see if I can save you one or two.
Yeah. So what else with your week? Anything?
Well, we celebrated Lori's birthday yesterday.
Yes.
Her birthday was a couple of weeks ago when I was up at the lake, when we were up at the lake. And for a long time, Lori's been wanting to have a lobster roll, a bona fide Connecticut style lobster roll. And they're rather expensive. You know, they're not your $3, $4 hot dog. So we went to a place called Lobster Landing. I think it's called Lobster Landing down in Clinton. I did some research. It looked wonderful. And we went down there, got there right around lunchtime. It turned out to be senior day, so we get $2 off our lobster rolls. She devoured hers. And I found I'm not a lobster person. I'm surprised about that. It was so good. I mean, it was great, but I mean, it was outstanding. It was very well done, but would I get it again?
You know, it was my mother's favorite food growing up, and it was always a special occasion when we got it. And I just never really, Now, Connecticut lobsters, those are the big tail lobsters.
Those are big tail lobsters.
The big tail lobsters.
Yes, I'm confused too.
The New Hampshire ones are the left claw lobsters.
Left claw lobsters.
And the Maine are the right claw lobsters.
Yes, in the lake.
Yeah.
They have special, because you get lobsters everywhere up in New Hampshire.
Yeah, in New Hampshire, the lake lobsters, they're left claw.
But it was an interesting experience. I think I shocked Lori because I just dug right into mine.
Yeah.
And that's unlike me to try new food like that, considering.
You know what? You have to.
I think so. And I really kind of expected it to be saltier, a little more fishy kind of tasting.
See, now I just need to get you to come out and have sushi with me.
I've had a little bit of sushi.
No,
I've only had
come out and
vegetable.
experience sushi.
Michael has a list.
Michael has some stuff for us. Thank you. These are the favorite fair foods. Amber fried dough.
That's a go-to.
Yep. Tony,
you
know,
Tony
Benedetti. Guinness is a meal itself.
It's true.
True.
This is how we start.
But he also likes fried Oreos. But yeah, at the Big E, we always start at the International Building at the Irish pub.
And at the pub, have our shot of Tullamore Dew.
Lori, our lobster roll in the main building.
Oh.
And Jeannie Martin, turkey legs. I've never had one of those turkey legs.
I have never either. They always look so good, but they're so big.
Yeah.
Lori likes the Maine potatoes.
Well, you know, I stood in line with you guys one year for the Maine potato, and I was like, "What? It's a potato, and it had cheese whiz on it. Yeah, like it's cheese whiz." And Chanel, she likes the baked potato with the pulled pork in the Connecticut building.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So next year, let's knock on wood that next year we'll all be back doing fair foods.
We'll do a Phoenix trip to the Big E.
We could do maybe on Connecticut Day. We could do a broadcast from there.
That could be fun. I bet you they'd let us.
I bet they would.
We could think about that.
So everybody pester the Big E so that we could do a live show.
We do have to mention something. You know, our friend Casey she's got a little bit of a health challenge, and so we just wanted to give a shout out to Casey that we're here for you. We love you. We're sending white light and lots of hugs
and everybody else and everything else to Casey and Jonathan
and everybody
and everybody in their
everybody
all their cats.
It's true. Yeah. So our topic for today.
We're talking about classics, and I'm trying to remember today if I've ever done a classic. I think the closest one I've ever done to be considered a classic would be Kaufman and Hart's.
What about Harvey?
You know, I would consider that. Yeah. Okay. I forgot about that. I've done that show twice.
Harvey's kind of a.
It's an older show, so I guess that is technically what makes it classic. I do want to differentiate Shakespeare from classic. Shakespeare, I think, is his own subset altogether.
Sure it is. Sure it is.
So we're not talking about classical Shakespeare.
Well, I'll be interested when we bring Lucia on. I want to talk to her about what her definition of a classic is.
Yeah.
Because when I think of classics, I think of things like Glass Menagerie. I think of
Mice and Men.
Of Mice and Men, Streetcar Named Desire, which is one of my, I can't wait to do that. Cat on a Hot Tin Roof.
Yeah.
Raisin in the Sun, Death of a Salesman.
Does it say something that it seems like to define classic, you almost have to go with drama? Because it's hard to say because.
Or black and white movies.
You know,
I know.
But it just seems like if you talk about doing a classical show, it almost always seems to be something heavy.
Right. And that's again.
Maybe it's because those have lasted through the years.
That's a question we can ask our guest who seems to have more experience in this.
Yeah.
You know,
I think so.
I mean, and the interesting thing is from a producer standpoint, the classics are the scariest for us.
Yes.
Because we don't get as many people auditioning for them, and we traditionally don't sell the tickets. You know, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? And when we did Glass Menagerie, I often say there were performances with 3 people in the audience. You know, it was such a shame because it was a beautiful, beautiful production. So
there's a great song in the musical Curtains about doing comedies as opposed to dramedies and dramas. And there's a line in the song about we did the Iceman cometh and nobody cameth. And it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Amber just pointed out in our chats here that Arsenic and Old Lace is a classic comedy.
That's true. That's
Arsenic
very good.
and Old Lace is a classic comedy.
And you've done that one.
Yes, we did that one.
Have you ever done any classic shows yourself performed in?
Arsenic and Old Lace.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I played Dr. Einstein in Japan.
In Japan?
In Japan. I played Dr. Einstein.
Was that in Japanese or
no,
was it in English?
No, it's in English. It was on military bases. We went to military bases with it. And I played Dr. Einstein. Charlie. Yeah. It was really fun. It was quite interesting. But I haven't tackled any classics yet.
I would almost love to try. It's,
One day I'll play Willie Loman.
One
day, maybe. You know, it's like, you got to trust yourself.
Yeah,
it's like Shakespeare scares me so much, and so do these.
That was one of the best uses I ever remember up in Torrington of when they built that house right in the middle of the Nancy Marine studio. Jeff Savage was in that one. Janice Connor was in that one. That's. I think that's the one that most people think of when they think about a classic that they would like to participate in or be in. That's a classic role.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Let's bring our guest on.
I think that's a good idea.
So I need to introduce our guest here. Are we ready? Lucia Dressel is the Director of General Education and the Chair of the English Department at Post University. A legend in the theater community. Her onstage credits with Phoenix Stage Company include The Hallelujah Girls and Sweet Surrender. Her directing credits with us include Masterclass, Cemetery Club, Neverland Christmas, and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Regional onstage credits include Titanic, Beauty and the Beast, The Glass Menagerie, and South Pacific. She's also directed The Diary of Anne Frank, To Kill a Mockingbird, and The Grapes of Wrath. Lucia, are you there?
I am here. It wasn't Grapes of Wrath. It was Of Mice and Men.
Oh my goodness gracious. Of Mice and Men. And I said Grapes of Wrath.
Oh dear. Well,
okay, Steinbeck.
Steinbeck is the same. But men and grapes. Yeah. So no. Of Mice and Men, and it was quite an amazing production.
Thank you.
It was running the same time as ours, so I didn't get to see it.
Yeah. How are you, Lucia?
I'm great, Tim. And Tim, Carbonite is not Star Trek; it's Star Wars.
Oh, that's right. He was encased in carbonate. There also, now, don't you go on me on this one. There was an episode called the Carbonite Maneuver, and that was the original series.
Okay.
But thank you for that. I forgot about him being encased in carbonite.
Speaking of classics, right?
What are we talking about here? What's our
We're talking
topic?
about,
Okay.
so Lucia, we were just discussing this. What is it that defines a classic? We were kind of throwing some shows around. What is it that defines a classic?
Well, in the literature world, which, a lot of drama, a lot of plays are, a classic is something that has universal themes, so people can relate to it. They also are timeless, right? And they affect other things that you see. So you can have old classics. I don't think it's a question of dates, right? So you can have old classics and you can have newer classics. For instance, you look at something like Disney, like Beauty and the Beast is a classic, but you might not think of it in the same genre as Streetcar. But yeah, classics should continually shift people's ideas when they view it or participate in it.
And it's also something that's been done, has a shelf life, I think, is what I would say. Something that is written decades ago and is still relevant enough now.
It's something that's recognized.
Recognized. That's a good way to put it. I wouldn't say relevant because that's, you don't update a classic per se. You stick with
classic musicals, right? I've been in South Pacific and Sound of Music, and we consider those classic musicals also, because we just keep bringing them back again.
And the classic musicals too are the ones that they're big shows, and they're great to cast because you have so many people on stage,
right?
And those are a lot of fun. They're crazy, and we were just talking about our first show together, which was a big musical in Waterbury in 2000. I remembered the date, 2000. Yeah, can you believe that?
And it's free to think that 2000 was 20 years ago. Really.
I know. It's so hard, especially when you see pictures like your kids growing up. One of your kids just had a birthday, right?
Dan. Yes.
Dan just did. Yeah, because I remember seeing a picture.
What
of
is
Dan.
he, 12 now?
Dan is 25. Ben is 16.
Ben is 16.
Jenny's 25 and Katie's going to be 30 and getting married in 2 weeks.
That's
a classic. Oh, holy cow. That's exciting news for you.
Classic. So there, for those of you out there who don't know Lucia and her family, it's the family that you see inside your wallet when you buy a new wallet, and it's those pictures that come with everything, and it's all the pretty people in a picture. That's her family.
That's how she got put 2 kids through college, actually.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So all those things. Lucia, you do a lot of directing.
Yeah.
And it's something that you really like sinking your teeth into. From when I've never had the opportunity yet to be directed by you, but I've watched you work. And do you have a preference on what shows you like to direct? What kind of shows? Because you always seem to like to go after these classical shows.
Well, I think I started with a musical, King and I, and I loved doing it. I mean, I love doing musicals. I love being in musicals. But yeah, I guess the English teacher in me just really gravitates towards the literature because they're just so beautiful, and you get the right actor in the right part, and they're amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and there's something about the class, especially with the classics. It's all that unspoken word. It's all the intent of the language and the delivery of that and the in between the lines kind of stuff that you seem to be able to pull out of actors. Like, you when we were doing One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest,
which I consider to be a classic
really
show.
Happy to be able to stage manage for you, watching you get the actors to approach a line from a different way by making them think about the line.
Yeah.
Don't just say the line. And you would sit and have conversations about that. And I think that's a talent in itself, that you're able to see what the word means, it's not just a word, it has this meaning in this context.
Is that the English teacher in you coming out for that show?
In a way, yes, because I live in the realm where I interpret literature, right? But it's also the actress in me. And I think that's why actors make such fabulous directors, maybe. But in my case, it's, if you're not believing who you are on stage, then the character falls flat. And the one thing that, you know, you look at something, I remember specifically To Kill a Mockingbird, and everyone thinks of Atticus Finch as Gregory Peck. And
Right.
not cast Gregory Peck. I cast the wonderful Josiah Rowe, but we had to have a discussion about never playing the actor who played that famous part. You have to play the character. You know, Ian Dietrich, when he played McMurphy, that's Jack Nicholson's famous role, but
Sure.
you don't play Jack Nicholson because you will fall flat. You can't play Jack Nicholson. So
Right.
have to really look into who these characters are and play them, and then the audience will believe that. If you,
I think that's it's so really true, because I remember watching the dress rehearsal of Cuckoo's Nest, and when Ian came on, you know, I'm sure that everybody that came to see it, and a lot of people did come see that show, it was very popular. They were perhaps expecting Jack Nicholson because that was their only experience with that show. And of course, you know, the stage version is so totally different viewing wise than the movie, because you know, you can do obviously do things with a movie that you can't do on the stage. You're limited to what's here. But I would venture a guess that within 5 minutes of watching Ian work, they're like, okay, that's not Jack Nicholson. Now I should really pay attention to what's going on here.
Right.
This is not the movie.
Yeah.
And that entire show, top to bottom, Murphy, all the way down to like the
Ruckles.
yeah, they were
Brian Elser, who had,
yes, they were. Everybody was totally into the show, and there was never a. You could see that show several times and look at different people every time and still see everyone totally
And you know,
engaged.
a lot of that is owed to the fact that Lucia developed relationships with these actors, and they wanted to please her. And they didn't want to let their director down because she formed those relationships with these guys. And so they worked so hard to make sure that her vision came out and they made her happy. And it showed in the product. I mean, and the Michael, Artemis, Michael Cassidy, who played our Indian, the chief, he was very new to the stage.
Yeah.
And he did a wonderful job. And that was the director. Lucia worked with him and molded him and taught him. She taught him through that process, and it was brilliant. It was brilliantly done.
Lucia, how about when you're putting something like that together? How far into the process do you really start working on the character, as opposed to let's get the lines down?
Oh, right away.
Right away, you start working on them.
We don't do lines. We do characters. I mean, I'm talking about from the read through.
Okay.
And one of the things that I do that probably drove Ed a little crazy, but I know it drives some actors crazy, but boy, did these gentlemen in Cuckoo's Nest really gravitate towards it, is you meet them when they're in a mental institution and you know nothing or little to nothing about their histories, except maybe the bad things that brought them there. And we had to sit down and figure out who they were, because that was essential to their reactions. Who are you? What brought you here? Why are you staying? Are you trying to get out? How are you reacting to Nurse Ratched? I mean, and I asked them all to develop tics, which they did so masterfully.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So that wasn't in the script.
Oh gosh, no. No. And what that does is it allows the audience, as an audience member, you don't always watch the person performing.
Sure.
You're watching the other people on stage. So if someone is doing something fascinating, it shouldn't detract from the scene, but it should be part of what the everyday life of that one room where we had to stay for that, the entire 2-something hours.
Well, last week we had Chris Evans on, who was
in Cuckoo's Nest.
In your show. And he had his little cigar box. And I swear to God, every night I was like, I really want to know what's in there. But he was
something in it every night for him.
Yes, and I kept saying, what made that work for me personally was that he was doing all these things just enough to get your eye on them, but not enough to take away from what was happening on stage. That's such a fine balance.
It is.
That's a really hard thing for an actor not to go too far and not to have too little. I think you balanced it perfectly with these.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite classic show, Lucia?
You mean that I've directed or just in general?
Just in general, do you have a favorite out there? Is there something that really
It's
pulls
so
you-
funny. Every time I direct one, I think, oh, this is just the perfect show. I'm so glad I did it. And then another one comes up. Romeo and Juliet, I did with the Naugatuck Teen Theater. And they were, I mean, to be able to introduce them into the complexities of Shakespeare and to be able to say those lines as if they were dialogue, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
But I have to say, one that I would love to do, Ed Bassett, is Streetcar.
Oh,
I adore that. I adore the show, and I want to see it on our stage so badly. We've just been waiting for the right place and the right time to put that
right.
onto the stage. You know, we'll find it. We'll find a way, Lucia. It'll happen.
I hope so.
It's yeah. I want to see it.
What
so
about
badly.
as an actress? Anything that's on your bucket list that you haven't
bucket
done?
list role? Bucket list role.
Well, I did Glass Menagerie with the Backyard Theater Ensemble, and that I would love to do again. Gosh, I can't, it's difficult being of an age and a size. There are not as many roles open as I'd like to play, but now I can't think of, I think Glass Menagerie is probably it. I'd love to do Misery.
Oh, everybody runs and says,
I
oh,
love that show.
I can just, yeah.
Now, is there
That
any
would be
role,
awesome.
any role that you've done that you want, that you would do again like that?
Misery.
Misery.
Because when I did that with the fabulous Dan Willey, I was a very new actor, very new. I had done, I think, Beauty and the Beast and maybe a couple things when I was younger. I had never gone into a drama, and Dan really helped me pull out some inner rage. I didn't do it as successfully as I could do it now.
Dan's good at that, at bringing out the inner rage in people.
Yeah, yeah.
What about, flip it a little bit. Is there any role that you've done that you would love to direct somebody else in?
That's a very interesting question. I'd have to say, oh gosh, I can't think of anything that I've done that I would like to direct someone in. I would have to get back to you about that
You have
one.
to go through the resume and look through that.
I would like to, and Ed and I have talked about this before. I sing. I would love to do a concert version of Titanic.
Oh, beautiful music.
Yeah.
One of the first, I think it's like the second show I ever saw on Broadway, and it just blew me away.
Yeah.
Blew me away. And I remember seeing you up in Torrington with that.
We were working on some concert versions for here. We were looking at the concert version of Les Mis. It was just so expensive.
Yeah.
It was more expensive to do the concert version than it was to try and do the show. And so, we try, we keep trying, we keep looking at it. One day
One day more.
it'll happen. One day we'll do these shows one day. Lucia, how about do you have any advice for either a newer director or a young actor or an actor who's for the first time going to tackle a classic? Do you have any advice you would give?
Something I've learned as a director, I've learned a few things as a director. One is that you handle your actors at the beginning, and then they get to a point where they say to you, no, I don't think they would do that. You ask them to do something and they say, no, I don't think they would. That doesn't sound right to me. That doesn't seem like their character. That's when you flip. That's when you know that they know their character and they have their character, and you can pull back.
And that's not just being arbitrary. That's being, I don't think my character would do this because of.
Yes.
Yeah, because it was interesting at the very first read through of Cuckoo's Nest. Everybody, read through. Then the next, we sat in a circle, and she said, "I want you to tell me why you're here. Like, what brought you here?" And all of them blamed their parents. And his father was awful, his mother wasn't there, or vice versa. My mother was mean and my father left us. And I was like, they're all blaming their parents. But by the middle of the production, all of that had kind of shifted, and they found other reasons. They found
in
other
themselves,
things because she led them through that.
Yeah.
And I remember one of those rehearsals when you said to someone, I think it might have been Chris. Think about this, and he went, can I disagree with you? And he said, because, and she said, okay. And she kind of sat back, and that was, he has his character in hand.
Yeah.
Like, so I witnessed that, and I get that. Because a lot of directors want to push back and go, no.
it's my vision.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's good advice. That's good.
The other thing I'd have to say is to, as you mentioned, Ed, get them to find the lines within themselves. I remember I was working with Colleen Renzullo in Cemetery Club, and she was talking about, the character was talking about her late husband. And it just wasn't there. The depth wasn't there. And I said, okay. And we ended the scene. And I said, Colleen, can you tell me how you met your husband? And, you know, a little bit about your marriage. And she did, and she developed this lovely warmth and this look in her eye. And it was just so real. And I said, now do the scene again. And it was perfect. So, you know, you have to, it's being a part of a ringmaster, right? You have to get people to find connections within themselves. But as an actor, I would say just go for it.
Yeah.
I have taken a number of people who have only done musicals and pulled them into dramas thinking they could never do it, and they were phenomenal. So just take the chance.
You never know.
So, you know, oftentimes we find shows because people bring them to us, or they
Right.
bring them to our attention, and then we read them and we say, yeah, I know. And one show that Lucia had talked about and we talked to her about was Masterclass. And it was one of those shows that was haunted for us. I mean, we tried it. I think it was a year before we actually staged that show.
Mhm.
Masterclass, what was it about that show that called to you?
The music and Maria Callas, and having grown up knowing her story. And, you know, it was just so unusual to have a musical that had opera arias in it. It was amazing. And Marilyn Olsen just took on the role. It was beautiful. I had my husband, John, up there doing he was the on-stage accompanist. And it was just, you know, this is what I tell my students. Literature is not all well written, but all good literature is good storytelling. And Masterclass was great storytelling. And that's part of the reason I loved it. But that was a difficult show to put together.
It was a difficult show. We had our challenges, but one of the things that I really loved about watching that process was it made that topic kind of accessible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it connected the music to what was happening in her life in Maria Callas and how she approached all of it. You know, because she would tell those stories. So I loved that show.
It's a beautiful show. That'd be a good one to do again.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
I absolutely love that show.
I think we should put you on hold.
Yes, we have to put you on hold for a moment because we have to bring our friend Lydia on really quickly.
Should I go off camera?
Yes, so you can go off camera, and we're gonna bring you back on to talk to Lydia in a minute. I don't have any music because of my tech problem, so we're just gonna bring Lydia on. So just supposed to go. It's Lydia. It's our friend Lydia Cleft from Northfield, Minnesota.
With a nice new theme song for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that version.
We haven't come up with words, but I'm sure it's something like Ask Lydia.
Yeah, ask Lydia.
Ask Lydia.
Yeah, you got time till next week to work on it.
Yeah. Okay, we did. We'll come up with your own theme music. How
Lydia.
are you?
I'm pretty good. How you guys doing?
Good.
Okay, are you getting ready for fair season, even though we're not having fairs?
A fair or bear? What did you say?
Well, bear season and fair season. Basically.
It's always bear season in my yard, so I get a little twitchy when I hear that. But yeah, our fairs aren't happening here either, no.
At normal times, do you like to put stuff together for your fairs? Do you do canning and things like that?
Well, I used to enter vegetables in the vegetable, judging, and I did photography for a while.
Okay.
So I do have some blue ribbons to brag about, yes.
Oh, you got blue ribbons.
Yeah.
How's your weather up there in Northfield, Minnesota?
Well, it's a little rainy today, but the whole week has been lovely.
Oh, that's good. And
Yeah, Labor Day weekend was just a prize winner.
Was it a good summer for your vegetables this year?
It really was, yeah, because I rigged up this big fencing system to keep that nasty woodchuck at bay.
Oh, those woodchucks. Yeah, they can be nasty.
How
That's
many
true.
tomatoes would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck tomatoes?
Yeah.
A lot in my yard.
Yeah. Lydia, anything special you've been up to this week?
No, I had a nice get together on Labor Day, so it was really nice to see some friends. It's funny you said about playing poker because I too played poker this week and I won.
What?
You did.
I won $7.70. Yeah,
Wow, that's big time.
that's enough to buy a tablecloth at a thrift store
Yeah,
if I was brave enough to go to one.
that's true. Because they don't really ship. They don't really do online thrift stores. Don't really do online shopping too much.
Yo, that's called eBay, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I guess it would be. So, Lydia, do you have anything prepared for us this week?
Well, I heard that you were having an English teacher on, so I did some things about the English language that kind of they confuse me a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just there's some words like if you get really panicky and you say I'm so overwhelmed, and then if you don't really like something, you say I'm underwhelmed. Nobody ever says they're whelmed.
That's
Yeah,
true.
there's no such. Hey, how you doing, Lydia? I'm whelmed. No, you don't hear that much. So I'm wondering why. I'm wondering why.
Meh. It's like meh. I'm
Whelmed.
I'm whelmed. It's not going to make it on a t-shirt, that's for sure. So and then there's this word called extraordinary, which is extraordinary. Well, extraordinary is just more ordinary. It's not better.
Well, that's a good point. I never thought of that before.
You're just piling more ordinary on top of ordinary. So what's the big deal?
Like ordinary squared or something like that.
Yeah. And then I don't understand. A teacher and a tutor kind of do the same thing, but a teacher teaches, but a tutor doesn't too.
Oh,
So come on.
definitely don't want them tooting.
It's hurting my head a little bit. And then this kind of gets on my nerves because sometimes people, you say, I love you. And then they answer with, love you more. No, it's not a competition, darn it. Just love me too. You don't have to love me more. Then I feel like I'm not doing my job.
It's like really saying, "Oh, I love you to the moon." It's like, just to the moon?
Well, and back,
You come
hopefully.
back?
Yeah. And then I have some toothpaste. I just bought new toothpaste. On the toothpaste, it says, complete plus. No, completes the whole thing. What? You can't have more than the whole thing. Complete plus doesn't make any sense.
That's
I
like
don't
giving-
understand.
Yeah, that's like giving 110%.
But again, not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Unless you got 3 arms to hug somebody, that might be 110%.
That could be.
But no.
You
And-
can't
and
do
then-
that now anyway.
That's
And
true.
then the other thing is the word disposal. Like disposal is you get rid of stuff, you throw stuff away. So I asked my husband the other day, hey, can you come out here and give me a hand? He said, I'm at your disposal. And I said, well, leave the garbage and come help me.
That's
I don't understand that. I'm at your disposal. I'm not going to throw you away. You're helping me. It's a good thing.
I
I don't get it.
I never considered that before. That
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
So I've been thinking about the English language and stuff, and how everybody does online shopping now.
Yeah.
So I got myself some yoga pants. Not that I'm going to do yoga in them, but it's nicer to say than laying around pants. So it came with this label. Now, these pants were made in China, okay? And this is, let me see if you, okay, that's the name of it. I don't even know what that means. How mouse, I don't know what that means.
Okay.
But at the end of it, it just says, do what you want. So I don't know if that's their version of Nike, just do it. But it says, do what you want. So anyways, here's their little piece of wisdom. I'm going to read this and I'm going to say, thank you, Google Translate ahead of time. It says, life is limited. With the time goes by, humans are getting older and weak. The meaning of sports is to keep us youth and strong. it not only brings us the space shift, but also leads us shifting through time. Yeah, do what you want.
It's a haiku.
That's just words of wisdom. Thank you,
It's a
China
haiku.
and Google Translate. Thank
I
you.
think somebody kind of messed that one up.
So yeah, and it's also, I'm gonna say in German and French, and then one of those line languages that I can't read.
Oh.
But, you know,
I
yeah.
think that was a haiku. That was a yoga pants haiku.
You know, that's a stretch even for a haiku. Oh, stretch yoga pants, look what I just did. Oh my goodness.
There.
Yeah, so that's just kind of my little pet peeves with the English language.
Yeah, there's a lot there. So shall
I
we
get it.
bring you up?
Yes,
hook you up
you
with
know,
our English
I think
teacher?
we should bring Lucia back on now, and you can ask her a
Okay.
couple of those questions. Maybe Lucia, have you been listening?
I was.
So do you like?
Carbonite maneuver starts.
Might.
Oh,
Well, I got a correction for you on that
Do
too.
you, I mean, do you have any advice for Lydia on this weird? These
Oh, for the English language, my advice would be just do what you want.
okay.
little-
doing good so far.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Go for it. It's the English language. There are no rules.
Okay.
So Lucia, is there any, you know, our Lydia is a very good advice giver. And so we always ask all of our guests if is there any area that you need advice from our friend Lydia? Is there anything in your
As a matter of fact, Lydia,
Yes, ma'am.
I have an anniversary coming up.
Oh, how nice.
Yes, 32 years with the same wonderful man.
Oh, good for you.
And I'm kind of running out of presents to give him. What do you suggest?
32 years.
Mhm.
I believe if you look at that chart, 32 years, it's a really weird gift to give. You know, like year one is paper, and then I think like 5 is wood or something. 32, oddly enough, is you take a picture of your loved one and you send it away to a website, and they make a painting of it, and they make them like in royal kind of dress. Yeah, that's the
Already did
32. You're kidding me. You
Does
did
that sound
that?
familiar to you, Lucia?
I think that's a brilliant idea.
Oh
I didn't
my.
realize
Well,
that-
then my simple advice is, when your husband says to you, "I love you, Lucia," do not say "I love you more."
All right, perfect.
Just say you are whelmed by your love.
I'm whelmed. Well, that
And
is
make sure
awesome.
you're at his disposal.
Okay.
Right.
Our friend Lydia. Lydia, thank you so much for joining us this week. We really appreciate you. We got to do
You're
the song.
welcome, fellas. Thanks, guys. Bye.
This was Lydia time.
Yeah, see,
Okay.
during with the music, with the thing breaking and everything, I lost Lydia's theme music, so I have to pull it off with the old one
Do
now.
you have our
Wait,
game?
where did our friend go? Did you bring us up or?
Oh, gotta get Lucia back.
Uh-oh.
Lucia,
Get
where'd
Lucia
you
back.
go?
Lucia,
Yes,
there she is.
no.
Oh, we didn't want you to go yet.
You have a contest still to do.
Yes, you have a contest to do, so we have to do this really quickly.
We do have the
Ready?
contest music, right?
Okay.
It's slightly new, but okay.
It's new contest music because I couldn't find the old stuff yet.
So we're playing a game that we like to call jargon gymnastics
Stretch your mind.
and your tongue. We'd like that. So just let it sit out there.
It's
for
almost your anniversary.
It's almost your anniversary. So what we do is we pick a language, a foreign language or something like that, and come up with either words or phrases and come up with definitions for each. And we'll be asking you 3 different phrases. And if you can get 2 out of 3 right, you win a prize for you.
And Lori Rishnovsky, who's out there today in our chat room.
Oh.
Lori, I got your back, Lori.
Okay, so what I technically do is I Google things, and I Googled Roman phrases. So I guess these are Italian, but
We think she has a little leg up because she's Italian, you know.
I think so. Here's your first word. Avoya.
Avoya.
Avoya. Avoja. Does it mean 1, all hell no? Does it mean number 2, all hell yes? Or does it mean number 3, Oh, heck, I could go either way, but I prefer Sicilian as long as it has pepperoni on it.
Avoya. Avoya. No, it means hell no.
You sure?
Are you sure?
Oh, let me think about that.
Okay.
Hell yes.
Yes, yes. Oh, hell yes. Hell yes. It means all hell yes.
Oh, hell yes.
But I can see where that, could be considered no as well. Okay, your second one is stai manzo.
It's spelled STAI space MANZO.
Now, does that mean, number one, relax, don't worry, be happy? Number two, stay just a little bit longer. Please, 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 please.
Tell me that you're
tell
going
me
to.
that you're going to. Or is it number three, macho man? I want to be a macho man.
Stai manzo means what was the first one?
Relax, don't worry.
Stai manzo. I'm gonna go with that one. Relax, don't worry.
Correct. Stay, don't worry. I added the be happy because I really like the song.
Relax, don't worry, be happy.
Well, you've already won, so let's see if you can get the clean sweep here.
Okay.
Your last one is Cho Nasura. CHON''ARSURA. Cho Nasura. I don't know if I'm saying it correct now.
Okay.
Number one, is it my mouth is dry, I need a drink? Is it number two, my mouth is stupid, please stop me from talking by giving me a glass of wine? Or is it number three, my hands have nothing to do, so could you please put a glass in each hand and fill them with uncertain alcoholic beverages?
Cho nasoro. It's the first one.
It is the first one indeed. My mouth is dry. I need a
Yes,
drink.
you did a great job on that game, Lucia. You did great. So you have won for yourself and Lori Rishnovsky a custom Take Flight with Phoenix Stage Company COVID-19 mask and a Phoenix Stage Company Theater Strong bracelet. Congratulations.
Thank
So,
you.
Lucia, I wanted to share with you a few things from our chat during the discussion today. Chanel Dupree, who's watching, said that To Kill a Mockingbird was her first show and that you were an absolutely fabulous director.
Sweet.
Agnes Dan loved stage managing with you for Masterclass. And several people have all chatted out how much they loved One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yes, so still one of the most popular shows ever to be here. Well, Lucia, was an absolute joy.
I love you all.
We love you too, and we miss you so much.
We can't wait to be together again and to work together again. And thank you for being here and
So fun.
being a part of Take Flight Live. And that's it. Everyone,
Lucia
Dressel.
Bye-bye, Lucia. She's a doll. I can't believe I've known her 20 years now.
Long
my
time,
God.
Tim.
Yeah, it is a
It's
long
because you're
time.
getting old
I am getting old.
Yeah.
Good Lord, am I getting old?
and you're just whelmed.
I'm feeling kind of whelmed right now.
Yeah, me too.
Just straight right across the board.
And I don't know, when I buy toothpaste and it says Complete Plus, I feel like I'm getting a bonus.
Oh yeah, it's like
So-
like an extra 110%.
It's like a marketing tool.
Yeah.
Complete
That's
Plus. Because you don't want Complete Minus.
no, I think they tried selling that and it just didn't go over very well.
Because on the shelf when it says Complete Care and then right next to it says Complete Care Plus.
Well, what you gonna take?
No, Complete Minus is like when you buy the bag of chips and it's mostly air. They give
Well,
you
that's
true.
everything,
That's
right?
true.
They
That's-
do that so the chips won't go to crumbles.
Yeah, and I always get the ones that go grumbling.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. Now, Tim, I understand for you, we're going to do some good news here.
Yes.
My news is just like, what news? What? So I came up on this thing that you could win the
What?
Jelly Belly candy store. That's what I really quickly, right?
Jelly Belly candy
The
store?
Jelly Belly candy store, right? And so I started doing some digging and I found out, no,
No.
you can't. It's not like there's a golden ticket competition out there,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
It's not.
Okay.
So the guy who invented Jelly Bellies,
Yes.
his name is David Klein. He put out this contest And because he's the inventor of Jelly Belly, it got out there that the Jelly Belly factory was up for grabs.
Like
if you
Willy
win this.
Wonka.
Right. So Jelly Belly Candy Company of America had to put out this thing going, no, we're not giving away the factory.
Aw.
It's not us. It's not us. So this guy, what he did is he established this website and he put it all over Facebook. You pay $49.99 to join.
Oh my.
Right?
Okay, yeah.
And then each state, so it's a statewide treasure hunt, and each state is limited to 1,000 participants. $49.99 times 1,000. That's what this guy is making
Per state.
Per state, right?
So times 50.
Yeah. So they hide these like gold style tickets in the form of necklaces and things in places that they come across, and they write an interesting story to give people hints. So they have to go and find this.
They're in the bags of jelly beans?
No,
they're just
they have
somewhere
nothing
in
to do with jelly beans.
They're just somewhere in the state.
He just invented them in the 80s and then he sold it. He sold the business.
Okay.
So everybody connected him to the jelly beans and they think it's the Jelly Belly company. It's not.
All right.
It's this guy making $50 off of you on a website, $50,000 a state.
Yeah.
And he's going to hide necklaces somewhere and you got to find them. And you have a chance. Now, the company, David Klein and his partner, have declined to comment on the actual value of the prize you're going to win. But supposedly it's a 4,000 square foot candy factory somewhere in Florida.
Okay.
And they send you away for a week to learn how to make candy.
All right.
So
now is that something you'd
it
want?
could be a 4,000 square foot tin building in the middle of a swamp
Just as
and
true.
with nothing in it. And you're going to go there and make alligator candy or something.
Cool.
So just do your research before you get excited about winning a Jelly Belly.
Here I thought you were going to tell me that
factory.
you paid the 50 and went and are looking all over Connecticut for this mystery
No,
token.
I don't have any money. No, if anybody wants to pay my $50 entry fee at this thing and I'll run around, but I couldn't do it anyway. You have to have a Facebook. You have to have a Facebook account. That's the other thing.
Oh.
It's just another marketing thing to get the coins into you and take your money away.
And that's good news.
But you're not going to win a Jelly. No, I said it's whelming news.
Whelming news. Okay.
It's whelming news. I said, before we get to good news, I just want to give this. I found this thing because when I saw the Jelly Belly golden ticket thing, I was so excited.
Yeah.
I started reading because I love Jelly Bellies, right? And so I started reading this thing and then I was like, oh no, this can't be right. So I dug a little deeper and then Jelly Belly Candy Company of America put out the statement going, no. No.
I wonder if this factory is the one that makes those other Jelly Belly ones that have the bad flavors.
Berthy Bots.
No, not the Harry Potter ones. The ones. Oh, maybe it is the ones that have those disgusting flavors.
That's Berthy Bots. Remember we sat here and ate them as a
Yes.
tournament here.
It
for
could
one
be
of our
lime.
anniversary.
It could be lime green.
It could be boogers.
It could be grass.
Earthworms,
eggs, oh.
farts.
Casey's friend was here, and oh my God, she kept getting
The dirty
worst.
sock one was gross.
Yeah.
The old cheese.
Yeah, it got to the point where nobody wanted to do those things anymore.
Earwax.
Yeah.
Like
Maybe that's the factory you can win.
no, it's a 4,000 square foot building in a swamp. I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'm telling you, that's what it is. But do your research before you participate in these online wonderful things.
Which is good advice for anything.
That's my good advice. Do your
good
research.
advice. Is.
Now I'm going to put on some lovely music because
Oh, thanks.
Tim has an editorial
I
to
have
read
an
for you.
editorial.
I hope you have another 30 minutes.
No, it's. It's only 3 pages.
Go ahead, Tim.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, one of my all-time favorite movies is a fairly recent one, Tomorrowland. It's a Disney movie starring George Clooney. In it, Casey, a hope-filled teenager, relates a parable to her father about the 2 wolves. There are 2 wolves, always fighting. One is darkness, one is despair. The other one is light and hope. Which one wins? Well, the answer in this version of the story is whichever one you feed. With everything that's going on around us locally, among our friends, within the state, within the nation, around the world, it's easy to see that we have been feeding the wrong wolf. I include myself in that category. It's much easier to see and moan about what is wrong and why there's so much darkness and despair. That's pretty much been the theme, if you will, for 2020. But I'm taking a stand right here, right now, to start feeding the other wolf, the wolf of light and hope. And I'd like you all to join me. Now, let's be clear. I'm not talking about a Shirley Temple, Pollyanna, Tinkerbell, gosh, gee whiz, let's all clap our hands to make it so kind of hope. I'm talking about a real down in the dirt hope. hoping for the strength to turn our own personal darkness into light. I know it's not going to be easy. A good first step would be to scale down our usage of social media. When was the last time you were on Facebook? How many messages and memes were of a negative sort, focusing on bad instead of the good? The same applies to pretty much all forms of internet media. At first, it was an amazing way to connect with our family and friends, but now it's a veritable wasteland of continuous negativity sprinkled with ads and a rare spot of good news. And while the same applies to news outlets, we could probably do the same by cutting down on that too. Although being a journalist myself, I do not encourage anyone from ignoring all the news. There's a lot of good, important stuff out there needing to be disseminated. Be informed, but don't be overwhelmed. I remember being somewhere, hearing something negative about another person when a very wise man said, "You don't know. None of us really know what is happening. The details behind everything. So let's not rush to judge." That's a lesson I try to take with me and use every day. So here's my pledge to, like the Monty Python song says, look on the bright side of life. Our tech director, Michael Calabrese, told me the other day that how much he looks forward to our Thursday nights because he feels he's among friends again. And I had totally agreed with him, and I think many of you watching feel the same. For this 1 hour each week, we get to be with each other, albeit in a virtual format. It thrills me each week to read the comments that you people type in, not so much because you're totally engaged in our weekly topic, but because we all miss each other so much. And for 1 hour a week, we can pretend that we're all in the same place, smiling, laughing, and of course, hugging. It's what we do. Someday, and I can promise you this because I believe it down to the very core of my soul, someday we will all be past this. Someday we'll be able to meet in person, laugh, hug, cry, and do the things we've missed doing these past 6 months. Someday there will be theater, there will be cast parties, there will be celebrations of all kinds, and we will never take human contact for granted ever again. I believe this firmly, and I hope you do. Earlier this week, our guest artist, Lucia Dressel, posted that when this is all over, she is going to hold the biggest, best party ever. I love that. I truly do. And yes, Lucia, I will be there. I'll be bringing Lori and one other guest, that wolf of light and hope and dreams, the one I plan to start feeding regularly starting now. Ed?
Tim Phillips, the new Carl Castle.
The old Carl Castle.
The old Carl Castle. I agree with you. I agreed with the wolf and light and things.
We need to, and this is what the show does. We try to just have a little bit of fun once a week for an hour. It's a good time to get together, and we hope that it carries people through.
And for only $49.99, you can own a wolf made of light.
Yes.
Tim, by the way, very important that it come up
Yes.
in the chat. Agnes wanted to let me know she noticed a small sauce stain on your pants. So she just wanted to make sure you knew.
It's dry now. It's dry now.
Yeah. Yeah. So you know, we have some other things that are in the works here. You know, it's
Yes.
I'm starting to get a couple little emails here and there, people saying what's going on and you know, when are things going to pick back up again? You know, I've been talking the past couple of days, Zoom meetings with a couple of companies that specialize in virtual reality, you know, virtual shows,
Virtual
and
performances.
streaming and
Yes.
buying tickets and all that. So we're working on that so that we can move forward. I'm working on a very exciting project, as you know.
Yes.
So
More on that
we
later.
do have something coming up now. Halloween is my favorite holiday, and it always has
Yes.
been. Even though as a kid, every year I was a hobo because my mother would just throw old clothes at me and she'd burn a cork and rub it on my face and give me a stick with a handkerchief on it. And I was every year I was a hobo.
Did I ever tell you my worst Halloween costume ever?
No, what was it?
I went as Hitler one year.
Oh, Tim.
Yeah, it was when Hogan's Heroes was
Oh,
going on.
Timmy. So we're going to be celebrating Halloween in October. We'll be in costume.
Yes.
On a couple of things. So on the 28th and 29th, Wednesday and Thursday, 28th and 29th of October. We'll be on both nights with ghost stories. And we're looking for people out there that want to participate and maybe read a ghost story. We're going to make it kind of fun. If you're interested in that, do not text me.
No.
Do not text Michael.
No.
You send an email to info@phoenixstagecompany.org. Info, INFO @phoenixstagecompany.org. And I will, put you onto the list and we'll work it all out. We have a lot of different ghost stories available that are already royalty free.
Oh.
Our friend Ian Dietrich is going to be doing an Edgar Allan Poe piece for us. Yes. So we're going to put this thing together and it's going to be really cool. And we're going to be in costume.
Oh.
So yeah, you didn't know that?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it'll be really fun. And then, following that holiday event on the 20th and 29th, our big project will be coming out. So we're very excited about it. And we can't wait to tell you more about it.
It's good to have things to do. It's good to have this kind of stuff.
It is.
It feels like we're, right back in it.
It feels like I'm being more than whelmed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Slightly whelmed.
Yeah.
Not overwhelmed, but I am
excited. I am excited about it. I met with Harold Pantley from Clockwork Today, and I had to have a meeting with him about our future here. Our lease is up on November 1st. We want to continue past that, and so we aren't going anywhere. Nobody has to worry about that. We aren't going anywhere. It's going to be a long haul, and that was part of my discussion today. Healing from this and coming back from it, it's going to take a lot of work and it's going to take effort from everybody that's involved, but we are the Phoenix after all.
Yes, and we do rise.
So we will rise from this and we'll rise together. We're really excited about it.
With everybody's help. With everybody's help. We are a community after all.
Yeah, I get by with a little help.
From our friends.
Yeah. That's right. And so now it's time for Michael to change that slide because we need to thank our sponsors. We are sponsored by Black Hog Brewing Company from
Oxford, Connecticut.
At the airport, their grotto is open, so they have outdoor seating available. Also, Sierra Ridge Media Arts and our friend Deb Cryan.
And Jeff with his brand new truck.
And Jeff got a new truck today, so congratulations to Deb and Jeff, and hi to all the boys out there. And we're, as always, you can subscribe to our channel by just clicking that little button. Please subscribe. And you can make a donation to support your community theater at phoenix-stage-company.square.site. Thank you all for your continued support and for being here with us. We look forward to seeing you all again next week. Until then, goodbye. Say good night, Tim.
Good night, Tim.